welcome back to FeedbackLoop, the only music discovery podcast hosted by me, Jeremy.
And me, Joey, also.
We are the hosts. Co-hosts, I suppose you should say. Are we both co-hosts, or are we just both hosts?
I think we're both hosts, but if we refer to each other, we would say, like, my co-host, but we're both the hosts. But, you know, to counter your point of this being the only podcast, like, music discovery podcast hosted by us, I think we should go start another one. So that way you're...
But then we can't make that claim anymore.
Yeah, because then you'd be wrong. You're the only one who ever said it.
So we're going to make another one just to make me wrong?
Yeah.
It feels like a lot of work, Joey.
It does, and it probably will be. But
I don't know if that's worth the effort, in my opinion.
What were we listening to this week, Jeremy?
This week, we listened to the Presidents of the United States of America. Not the presidents, but the band that is titled The Presidents of the United States of America.
We never watch any of the presidential talks or whatever they're called. Addresses, press conference. I don't. Fuck politics. We're not talking about that. We're talking about music. Yeah.
Presidents of the United States of America. Their second album, aptly titled 2. Roman numeral 2. I picked I. Yeah, exactly. I picked this album because last week we did Ween, which is kind of like some weird rocky business, and it kind of drew me to the Presidents, which I'm a big fan of. I love all of their albums. You should listen to all of their albums, especially if you like this one. But yeah, it's similarly rocky and weird, but in a different way.
Yeah,
I suppose from Ween, but it was kind of a logical step for me. I've been listening to them for a long time, and I think they just had like the 20th. No, I guess it would have been 15th last year, because I think their first album came out in like 95 or something.
Yeah,
so like their 15th anniversary of their first album or something. And this album came out in 96, so this year's the 15th anniversary of this album. But that's not why I picked the album. I picked the album because it is good, and it reminded me of Ween, or I guess vice versa. Ween reminded me of that. The album art for said album is kind of interesting. It's got their name, the band, the Presidents of the United States of America. It's got 2, the thing, very clean, in red text on a white background. But the centerpiece is there are 3 figures, 3 people, 3 dudes, a picture in monochrome, black and white, of 3 people. Technically it's 2 people, I think. With Chris Ballou being 2 of the 3 people in the image. But yeah, so the dude on the left is their drummer. His name's Jason Finn. He's wearing a top hat, looking very dapper. He's got a cane. The middle person is Chris, the singer and guitarist and songwriter and whatever. The main man behind the Presidents, with like a pickaxe and like a flannel and like a park ranger hat and a hatchet kind of a thing going on. And then on the right side of the other 2 is another Chris Ballou, I believe. Ballou? I don't know how to pronounce his name. I think it's Ballou. But he's standing there with like a banjo that looks like it was kind of like homemade from like a skillet in some way, with like a bunch of holes in it that looks like it's been eaten through by like something acidic or rust or whatever. And it's very small relative to him, it looks. But he's holding a hat in his other hand, and just kind of like some weird prospector-ish looking garb, but also maybe a bit classier than prospector garb. I don't know what's going on here, and I don't know what the meaning is.
I think he looks pretty.
It's just fun.
He looks pretty dapper, you know. He's got the suit on, and I mean,
yeah, but it's also like it's a bit rugged because it's half untucked. Like his undershirt is half untucked.
Yeah, he looks like one of those like businessmen that fell upon hard times in the Great Depression or something.
Yeah, and one of his shoes is untied as well.
How could he?
He's just a mess. He's half a mess in that, which I'm not sure what it means. I don't know. I don't put thought into this shit like maybe I perhaps should if we're going to talk about the album art every week. But we're only a year into this podcast, guys. Give us a break. We'll figure it out eventually.
An exact year, by the way.
Yeah,
Boom.
this is the 52nd episode that we're recording and releasing. So that's fucking exciting. We're not slowing down. We're not stopping. I'm kind of like, I guess to take a second, like I'm kind of fucking excited that we've made it a full year of consistent releases at this point.
I know, seriously, like nothing in my life other than like obligations ever goes on this long. Like,
yeah,
I always like stop or just kind of like lose interest or whatever. But this, it's a constant, something that gives me a purpose to listen to new music, that gives me
Yeah.
like a purpose in general, you
A
know.
purpose in life, man. He's doing this podcast for all 12 of our listeners.
Hell yeah. 12, that's pretty hefty number
Yeah.
there, Jeremy.
It was just a random number. I was looking at the 2, and it's comprised of 2 ones, so 12.
Oh, 12.
It's all thematic.
Yeah.
But I guess we're just gonna get into it, ladies and gentlemen,
Part 1.
because that's what we're here for, to discuss track 1, which is Ladies and Gentlemen Part 1. Joey, how do you feel?
Okay. Well, my background is that every song by the presidents of the United States of America that I've ever listened to, I've liked. I've never heard a bad song by these guys. Like,
Right. Until this week.
Until this week.
That's what I'm expecting.
I heard a great song by these guys.
Oh, yeah.
So, okay. So, like, immediately, I just like it. It's a cool, like, intro song. Like, it starts off, I mean, it's rock immediately, but, like, you can tell there's a little bit of, like, funk to it, but it starts getting crunchier, like, as the song goes on, like, more rocky.
More distorted kind of crunchy, crispy guitars.
Chris Ballou, his voice is literally perfect for the music that they make.
I agree.
Like, they could not have found a better singer for this band.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I guess that's why he made it. Like, if he's a driving force behind it, I guess that's why it happened. But
yeah,
he's
slightly nasally, but it's super slight, and the way he enunciates a lot of his lyrics, just like it gives it such a defining characteristic of what the presidents sound like, and it's like it's fucking perfect. I don't think they would have been as good. I mean, granted, he's also writing the lyrics, so he's kind of probably anything that he would write wouldn't sound as good coming from someone else, I guess is what I'm getting at.
Yeah. Well, I don't know, man. Like, I don't want to say I had high hopes going into this.
Yeah.
But, I mean, like, I kind of did. And they broke them. Not necessarily just with this song, but I'm just too excited. So, I just... They good.
Broke them in a good way.
In a good way. In a good way, yes.
This is better than you anticipated?
This is better than I anticipated.
Okay. Just want to be clear.
No, it absolutely sucks, and I can't believe you recommended this.
He has a perfect voice, but everything else I fucking hate.
But, so, I just like the way they started this album off, because Ladies and Gentlemen it starts off with them just kind of being like, okay, we're here. Are you guys ready to rock?
The show.
Like, this is it. We're like, it feels like they're kicking off like a live show or like some big performance or something.
And I'm sure that they open up a hell of a lot of their shows with this track.
Yeah, as they should, because it's a good little intro track.
Yeah, it's just as you kind of dipped into the lyrics, they're just talking like, "Hey, we're here. We're about to rock out. We're at a show. You guys are gonna rock out with us. We're just prepare yourselves as we dive into this hour-long epic journey of music."
Hell yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I guess we don't have to go into the lyrics too much. We just explained it. We'd have to be a lunatic, to go into those. But, if it was me, I'd be a lunatic to love, because I'm very lovable.
I feel like you kind of have to be a lunatic to love this kind of music.
That was a much better one. It
was right there.
It was right.
Like, I don't want to interrupt Joey and steal his thunder, but
you should have.
But I should have. It's too late. Track number 2, Lunatic to Love, not the number 2, even though I pronounced 2 as if it was noteworthy. This one it kind of comes in from the opening track, and he counts it in. He goes like 1 2 1 2 3 4 or whatever, and it speeds up, and it just really brings the energy of the album, of the track, of the band. I think the song is like, I mean, it's a great follow-up to the introduction, because this is kind of just explaining them in musical format, I guess, like what they do with this kind of like twangy rock and some fuzzy, like distorted guitars. And Chris really just like, he loves to cram a lot of like syllables in between beats, and just the way he sings, it kind of almost feels rushed at some points, but it's never like incoherent with the pace at which he's speaking a lot of words specifically in the song.
So, man, you didn't tell me these guys were fucking punk rock as shit, man.
Yeah.
Like, this is where I was like, as soon as I heard it, I was like, holy shit, I think this is better than I thought it was going to be.
Fuck
Like,
yeah.
it just because, like, the energy comes in and it's just the bass, the fucking, like, bass. But the thing,
Yeah.
okay, so the thing is, I've heard this. I don't know if it's actually true. I should have done my research. But so, Chris, doesn't he play something called like a bass guitar? Like,
Yeah.
didn't he create like that or have it created for him so he could like play awesome guitar parts and like mix in some bass or something?
Yeah, he has specially made 6-string guitars, and his instrument, his bass guitar, has 2 bass strings. It's like a 6-string guitar, but it has 2 bass strings, and then their bassist slash other guitarist has like I guess three guitar strings, 2 bass strings on that one. I don't know, it's not super clear the way that it's described, at least on their wiki page, which I'm actually looking at right now. But yeah, they modified their guitars to sound a lot heavier in certain tunings and stuff, and they play in a lot of like drop C sharp tuning, which is already like a low tuning. So with those like those bass gauged kind of strings, just like it gives it a really thick sound.
Yeah, like it's just so nice. Like it gives it such like a fuzzy, nice, distorted like I guess tone, which I mean I
Yeah,
guess is an effect that they put on there, but like the fact that they're playing it so low is just it's awesome. It blends between like what you would think a bass melody and like a guitar melody is. So it almost sounds like they're each taking turns on like the bass and the guitar, or like they have 2 basses and 2 guitar players or
right.
something. So it's super cool. And I mean, it's it surprised me because I had only heard like Dune Buggy, I'd heard Ladybug, I'd heard Peaches
Right.
and stuff like that, and then you hear tracks like this where it's like I would describe it as like some sort of off kilter punk rock, like
Yeah.
a more truer. I
It's
mean, it's
kind of like a geeky punk rock.
yeah, like, and I mean, that's not like it's not like 3-chord whatever garage
Right.
punk or anything. Like, it's still rock and roll. They still like there's a slower portion to this song where it slows down a little
Yeah.
bit, and it's not like as in your and I mean the whole song's not really like in your face. It's just got this good energy to it, but
Yeah.
it's just it's got a really cool sound to it, a really good energy, and the way he sings, I don't think it's too crowded or too fast or whatever.
Right.
It almost seems like he's doing some sort of like drum fill with the syllables that he's singing.
Yeah, it's very rhythmic.
Yeah,
It's like it's borderline rapping, but it still like carries melody with it, and it's not like, I don't know, it doesn't have the groove that I guess rap would have.
yeah.
He's just kind of like spewing words out and throwing them in, and it's just like it's fun as hell. Just like you can tell, especially in this album, like Chris was just having a fucking blast performing
Yeah.
and playing the music and singing along and stuff. The ending of this song, like you said, it slows down a bit, and then the ending of the song, it comes in where he's just like, the energy just builds and builds and builds, and there's just this huge like energetic finish where he's just like going love, 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 and then he starts like screaming the lyrics and stuff. Which, I mean, he doesn't do like screaming as in like metal screaming, but
Yeah.
like he does get like a harsher kind of vocal thing going on in some of his songs, and the end of the song is one of those parts where just like it really brings in that kind of punk feel that you were talking
Yeah.
about.
It's something I very much like. Like, it's awesome. I would definitely want to see these guys play live or
Unfortunately, you
something.
can't.
I
I
know.
think they hung it all up a few years back,
I
which
think I
makes me
remember you
sad.
talking. Yeah, that it sucks, but I mean, it happens. I mean,
Yeah,
when it's
gotta
done,
happen
it's
at some
done.
point.
But it's so lyrically about this song, "Lunatic to Love." I couldn't make heads or tails of it because there were two kind of messages that I got, which I kind of feel like just looking forward at other songs. It seems like there's not. I mean, sometimes there's like a little message in there or whatever, but
Sure.
it seems like there's not like a super like through line, or
Right.
you don't have to really decipher too much in there.
Yeah.
But this song, like, it starts off and it gives me like the vibes, and I mean, he's pretty much saying it like whenever you're in like a relationship with somebody and like their family or people are like asking like, oh well, she like, how are you treating her, like you better be treating her right or whatever. Like he says that the goons keep grilling me wondering how I'm treating you, and then he goes on to say her clothes are crappy and her brain is badly battered. He's
Yeah.
saying that she's happy and that's all that matters now. So it's like it gives off the vibe of like somebody who like appears not necessarily like, I guess, abusive, or like they're not treating somebody right, so other people are concerned. But then it goes on to another verse where it's like talking about how he rescues her from like a basement where she's been. So I
Well,
don't
yeah,
know.
he drops her off at an asylum and then comes back and saves her. Is how I took it.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, that does make sense. That does make sense. Look at me not fucking paying attention to things, but yeah.
But yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like the way I view the presidents is that I take most of their lyrics at like a face value kind of thing, like you were
Hmm.
mentioning. I feel like Chris would just like get concept ideas for songs and just run with it and see what his brain could like pull out of it. In this case, he probably liked the sound of saying like lunatic to love,
Yeah.
or he had the melody or something, and then he just kind of he took it and he explored what that meant, and as a result, he was kind of like singing about his lover and eventually her being insane and then like busting her out of an asylum, which to maybe not be the best for her, but she's happy and that's all that matters,
Yeah.
kind of a thing. So yeah, I don't read a whole lot into their lyrics because they're kind of scattered a bit.
Yeah. Scattered, almost like debris from a volcano that erupted.
Yeah, molten lava just exploding, falling down from the sky or into your ears if they were some stereo or something, as discussed in track number 3,
Boom!
Volcano.
Boom! Also.
Boom also. Yeah, this one, it immediately just comes in with some nice riffage, some fuzz, which is kind of the staple. Like at this point in the album, most of the songs are going to kind of have the same staples
Yeah.
of the president's sound, which is that like really fuzzy guitar, but also like kind of a twangy and clean sounding guitar. The melody and chord progression of the song is just so like happy and like dancey and like I don't know, it's fun. And the way that Chris sings is contagious, and it's fun to sing along to or headbang to, and just kind of like it's almost surf rocky
Yeah.
in tone, but it's not really there, and I'm not sure what the distinction is, but I just get like a hint of surf rock in this song.
Yeah, I don't see, that's the thing. Like, I also got the same feel, but I feel like they put a lot more into not like the aesthetic, but I guess like the background type stuff in this
Yeah,
song, where there's like, uh, I don't know, whenever the song starts picking up around like, I think it's like right before the chorus in the verse, where they start like banging on the keys to like bring up the intensity, and
yeah,
which I mean, they didn't have keys in like the previous two songs, at least not that I really
right.
heard. But then there's like some xylophones playing and stuff, which I think maybe like, I don't know, kind of is maybe what gave me the surf rock vibe. But then there's like somebody singing. I guess it's Chris singing in like this bit crushed voice behind in the chorus whenever he's singing like,
Right, he backs himself up or whatever.
yeah. So it's just, it's cool. Like you said, it sounds like he's just having fun, and it totally does. Whenever you hear stuff like this, where it's just like he's just like, yeah, this sounds cool. Let's
Yeah,
fucking do it, man. It makes a great song, so let's do it.
yeah, it's good old fun rock and roll music. As I kind of teased in the segue, the song kind of has two different themes, I guess, in it. Two different like skins to go on top of the lyrics, because he's talking about a volcano erupting, but in this case, he's kind of tying it back to the music that he's playing by referring to his stereo as a volcano that's about to explode because he's just rocking so hard,
Hell
and
yeah.
he kind of like personifies. I don't know if personify is not the right word, but he kind of like blends the metaphor of the volcano with his stereo. So he's still making allusions to like the island shifting and the plates are lifting and stuff like that. But he also mentions that he's talking about a big black boombox and stuff like that with melted wires and amplifiers and stuff like that going on. Which brings me to my second point about the lyrics in this song. This is kind of a staple of a lot of their music, is that he has a tendency to spew a lot of short, quick rhymes that sometimes kind of can be seen as a bit of a stretch, but they're usually not too far off, and they're always fun. For example, he says supersonic, plate tectonic, stereophonic, lava and tonic, the boom is bionic. And he's just kind of like rapid flow, like spitting rhymes like that without necessarily worrying too much about if it makes sense in the story of the song, kind of a thing. He's just kind of describing things, I guess, is the way to put it. He has very descriptive rhymes. They're just quick, multiple like line kind of things.
Man, out of all those, though, I like the end of it where it's that sulfur smell is Mount St. Helens, Pompeii was yet. Like, it's just the way that sounds when he sings it is just
everything he sings sounds great.
It does. Like, just his sincerity and like the voice that he sings it in, where it's just like I don't know. There's no irony to it. He is literally just like, this is the music that he wrote. And he's just like, fuck yeah, I'm doing it. This is awesome.
Yeah, he's just leaving it all out there. He's spitting it all out at fucking like Mach 5 speeds and just saying that's what it is.
Yeah. And also, he spits out track number 4, titled Mach 5. Whoa, 4, 5, Jesus.
4, 5. We're flying through it like we're in a blue car with cream interior. Like his Mach 5. And track number 4, Mach 5, as we just mentioned, and I re-segued to it.
Dude.
Is it a segue if you stay in the same spot?
I don't know, but we definitely were not moving at Mach 5 with those repeated segues.
Yeah, well, Mach 5. How you feel about it, Joey?
Dude, okay. So, it's just, I mean, at this point, you know how I feel. With this song, this fucking song, so it starts off with that, like, super fuzzy sound. And, but the one part that I wasn't expecting it in a song called Mach 5 is whenever there's, like, a little break of this, like, acoustic part that comes in, but then it leads into, like, a groovy-ass verse. Like, it's groovy as shit. These guys, like, I don't know. I know a little bit. I'm pretty sure Chris Ballou, at some point, whenever like they took their break, I feel like I heard that he started making music for porn.
Maybe. Like, I don't know if it's true or not, but I could see it happening. He also, side note, has a pseudonym. He makes children's music as well. So that's kind of a wide variety there, going from like the children's songs to the presidents of the United States to porn music, if that's true.
Man, like, I want to look it up, but I also don't, because this is a computer that I don't want any sort of viruses getting on here. So I'm going to retract that statement. I don't want to taint his name.
Sure.
So I'll retract it. But I heard it at one point, and with the amount of funk that these guys bring, not necessarily this song's out there like fucking going nuts or anything, like it's not funkadelic or anything, but like he definitely incorporates some pretty cool grooves into the music, and I appreciate it. Yeah,
he fucking, I don't know, it's just so good. Just everything about what the presidents sound like is, most of it's attributed to him. A lot of it's also attributed to Jason Finn, their drummer, who's fantastic, by the way. I know I haven't called him out, but like every song on this album, the drums are just fantastic. He gets a lot of time to have some crazy fun fills, but he never overdoes it, and he always keeps a nice groove going. And it's just the sound they get from the drums, fantastic. Great job, Jason, on the drums on all the albums. Really, he's a cool guy. He's a great drummer. I guess I don't know he's a cool guy. I haven't met him, but I like to believe he's a cool guy.
Well, hopefully he is, and hopefully he's not a dick.
Yeah. I will say, in this song, I noted that there's several vocal layers that they use, and I think it's all... I think most of them are Chris. Sometimes, occasionally, Jason will sing too, but they used a few different layers for the main melody. He has one layer that's him doing harmony, and then there's also this droning monotone layer through a lot of the song, where he's just kind of giving like a baseline rhythm kind of thing going on, where he's just singing one note, but he's singing the same lyrics, which is kind of like an interesting feel or technique that I think they used in the song. And they use it on a couple different songs. Yeah. This is the first one that I noticed it.
Man, I'm just going to take a second to say that I think this might be one of, if not the best suggestion so far.
Sweet. We can talk about that next week. Spoiler, guys. Next week we're gonna be doing like our favorite moments. We're just gonna be talking about the podcast, I guess, for
Yeah.
the prior year because it's gonna be starting year 2, and we're just gonna kind of look back and see what we liked, what we didn't like about what we've done.
Yeah, and then not change anything because
Not change anything, yeah, because that's what we do.
But
Yeah,
this,
lyrically,
yeah,
he's singing this simple song about him like destroying cars in his backyard as a kid, and then he pretends to like drive away in his favorite one because he can't bring himself to smash it, and it's very like, I don't know, it's nostalgic in that like you're witnessing his nostalgia as opposed for things that he used to do as a kid. He sings about like being a young boy and wanting to destroy things in other songs on other albums and stuff. So I think he's just really tied to that kind of nostalgia for what his childhood was like. And I think the song really shows off his songwriting style in that he likes to use a lot of alliteration in some things because it's just fun to sing. And it makes me think that, like, I don't know, it makes me feel like all of the songs were written just for the sake of being fun and not about getting some, like, deeper, more important message across, which makes sense if he also writes children's music.
yeah. Man, I feel really bad for saying the thing about the porn
Him writing
music.
porn. I mean, fucking. There's no disrespect in
There,
writing music for porn. Like
there
it's
is
just it
not,
shows his fucking variety, like his range of being able to like write for that if that's true.
but I can't find anything about it. I mean, I haven't looked, but yeah, you know what? That's right. That's right, dude. Good on you if you did, and if you didn't, I'm not gonna act like it's a bad thing that people do.
I'm
So
curious now, so I'm gonna look it up. You can fucking keep floating around in the wind like some sort of twig if you want to talk about the next
yeah,
track.
you know what? I'll float right on to track number 5, titled "Twig."
Got
Uh,
him.
I mean, so I'm gonna just start off just because I kind of follow along with the lyrics whenever we do this, and you talking about alliteration and everything. The literal first fucking line of this song is some weepy, creepy, willow pillow boggy shit. Like
Yeah,
just the way he sings is, I
the
feel like,
words he chooses are just fantastic.
yeah, I feel like it's a huge reason as to why these guys are so good. But backing off of the lyrics, like this one, it has more of the, it's a little more subdued. Like it's not as fast of rock or anything as like Lunatic to Love or whatever, but it's kind of more in the groove than the other songs. And I don't know, it's it shows that where you talked about like him screaming and stuff, like he shows that he can do the vocal distortion like really well. I
Right.
think he doesn't overdo it. Like, I don't know, I mean, in Ween, that last song, if you could save yourself, you'd save us all, where we were talking about like how he's just fucking screaming his head off at the end.
Yeah.
Like, I like that, but I can definitely see where it's completely like it can seem out of place. This Chris, like the way he does it, it blends perfectly in with the music. Like it's expected, I guess. Like it's
Yeah,
what
because
you
I
would
mean
want.
it's very rock and roll,
Yeah,
as we've kind of discussed, and it's kind of punky in some aspects. So it feels right at home, just kind of getting it out in a more aggressive. It's not even aggressive because like I don't know. I feel like Chris is just such a happy dude when he's singing that like
yeah,
aggressive feels like the wrong word to use, but it's harsher sounding,
yeah.
but it's still like I don't know. It works. It works fantastically.
And you know what else works? This little fucking guitar solo that gets
Yeah,
going on in this song. Like
yeah.
it's just super rock and roll. I mean, they set us up with Ladies and Gentlemen Part 1 asking if we were ready to rock. Well, man, they brought it.
Yeah, for sure. That's kind of a tactic that I picked up on this song as well. That's scattered throughout the album. Is that they'll have this kind of like quick guitar solo that leads into the last chorus of the song. That's kind of the formula that they use a
Yeah.
handful of times. No offense, I don't mean to say like, oh, it's formulaic music, like it's bad, but like it's just it's fun. I mean, I've said it before. I think we both said it at some point. Like the world needs more guitar solos, and guitar solos are cool as shit.
Woo!
So it's definitely not a complaint that they sprinkle in a lot of guitar solos on this album.
Yeah. And keeping in line with the lyric writing, I like, as far as this song goes, like,
Yeah.
just taking it at face value, I don't even know.
Right, yeah. This is definitely like the farthest out there song on the album lyrically that I had to struggle. But there's a lot of imagery that makes me think that he's like at a gas station filling up his car, possibly the Mach 5 mentioned in the prior track.
Yeah.
And just kind of like zoning out. He's like watching a twig dance in the wind and like just taking in his environment because there's so much like random shit that he talks about on in this track that it's like hard to imagine a coherent theme to any of it.
Well, I think it must be a gas station because I didn't get a gas station, but I got like a truck stop or something
Sure.
where it's like it's dark around and he's kind of just like there. Maybe he's eating like a dollar sandwich sitting on the hood of his car, and like some dude in a like one of those high cut wife beater shirts that you can like see his beer belly pops out of a car somewhere.
I'm gonna redact what I said, or retract, I suppose. I'm not redacting because I'm not gonna bleep it out. But I think you're more accurate or more likely to be right about it being a truck stop because he has sung about several truck stops in other songs on other albums.
Truck stops are cool. I like truck stops. So rock
Well,
on, Chris.
there's a truck stop on the moon, allegedly, according to their newest album, which was 2013's "Kudos to You," which I almost picked, and I really like that song. So check out that song. Check out that album. Check out all of their albums, Joey. You clearly like this band. You should check out all their music.
I'm definitely going to check out. I mean, I've already checked out some of it. I haven't listened to all of it, but
hell yeah,
I've had too much stuff to do at my actual job.
you mean to tell me this podcast isn't your actual job and we're not getting paid thousands of dollars to do this?
Dude, I'm not even getting paid thousands of dollars to do what I actually do for my actual job. I mean, I guess I am over a long period of time.
Well, yeah, I'm not saying $1,000 an episode. That seems steep for, well, maybe not. I mean, I guess that's like $4,000 a month for both of us to, I mean, whatever. We're not talking about that. We're talking about track number 6, Bug City.
Bug City. Speaking of twigs crawling around, bugs crawling around on twigs leading to Bug City.
Yeah, maybe there's some weird like adjacency through lines through each song. But track number 6, Bug City. I really, really like this song. This track is fantastic.
Yeah, it is.
And this one kind of exemplifies him with his songwriting and his like rhythmic delivery, I guess, that he really takes his time to finish thoughts without worrying too much about how it affects the rhythm of the song. So he'll write a thought. It's like, no, that's going in. I don't care if it fits syllable wise. I'm gonna make it fit.
Yeah.
Whether that's stretching it out to be longer than it needs to be or condensing it in that kind of rapid fire talking that we were talking. But yeah, there's a bridge section in here that's very simple and it builds well for the final like push of the song with some piano getting splashed in, as well as some like MIDI horns that are under. There's also this weird kind of unsettling layer of him that he does like spoken word kind of lyrics occasionally that just pop into an ear for a second, where he'll like repeat something or he'll just say a word in an ear and then just like he'll be gone. It's like, wait, was that a glitch that I just experienced in my ears? But it's kind of fun.
Yeah, I'd say it's definitely fun because so this song is where like this whole time I've kind of just been listening to it, and this album came out in '96, so like I feel like it's a pretty good job of like being complete like timeless. Like you listen to it, and at no point in the earlier songs was I mean, you can kind of tell, but it's not like, oh, this definitely has that immediate '90s sound, or like it sounds like everything else that came out there. And this song doesn't, but there's like the way he uses the bass and like plays, I guess whatever melody it is with the bass guitar.
Mm-hmm.
It reminds me of a very specific sound from the '90s that I really like, but they do it better. But then as soon as I was like writing that, there's kind of the part, I think it's the verse, where it sounds like, I don't want to compare it to Jesse's Girl, but I am going to compare it to Jesse's Girl. But it's better. I like it more than I like Jesse's Girl. Of course. Sorry, Rick Springfield.
Rick Springfield's still great. Like,
yeah, but
musician.
But it's like,
side note. Sorry, I don't want to interrupt you too much, but I don't know if you saw. I maybe told you about this. But for those who don't know, there's actually a sequel to Jesse's Girl that was written by Claudio Sanchez of Coheed and Cambria. that he wrote a sequel to it, and then
What?
he got Rick Springfield's approval, and Rick Springfield is actually featured on the track.
Oh my god, that's amazing!
Yeah, I think that came out last year.
I'm not gonna. Okay, I'll talk to you about that later because I want to know
Yeah.
all about this. But yeah, it's cool how they can mix up sounds like that. Like as soon as I think like I've got this one sound pegged, it's like nope, fucking
Right.
Jesse's girl.
Yeah, they like I mean, I guess to go against what I was saying, they definitely have a sound
Yeah,
for a lot of their music, but they also like they vary it to where all of their songs you can tell are them, but there's still enough like variety in like I guess maybe the arrangement or
yeah,
like the tones that they use, and I don't know, it makes each song kind of feel a little different, which is fantastic.
yeah. Like they have the general building blocks down, and then they just kind of
Yeah, they got their paints, and now
yeah.
they're painting pictures with those colors.
Beautiful pictures about a bug city, about partying all fucking night long
Yeah.
in this bug city.
Yeah, that's another thing. Chris really likes to write about bugs and animals and creatures and stuff. This song he actually references a couple songs from their first album. In I guess the second verse, he mentions I mean, like Joy said, they're talking about Bug City. That's the name of the track. It's literally just a city for bugs. But he says where you're safe from the spray and the kitty and the chase. Kitty being a song from their first album. And then at the end of that verse, he says, "Yeah, Bug City's rocking. Yeah, that feather plucking log is lit up. Feather plucking is also a song on their first album." So I thought that was kind of nice, just having those little homages to his prior work.
Yeah, it's man, like I'm trying to think of other words to say other than just like I really like this. It's awesome. It's great.
Yeah,
But you know they're just good.
they
They're
are.
just good. And
They,
you
they,
know you
I
know
was gonna try to segue, and then you started to talk, and then I stopped talking, so I stopped thinking about a segue. But maybe after I go take a bath of fire, it'll kind of cleanse me of all these jitters and get a good segue out of it.
will it cleanse you of all the dirt down in you?
Yeah, all that
The
deep down
deep
dirt.
down dirt.
You'll get all that deep down dirt out of me as we talk about track number 7, Bath of Fire.
Yeah, it's so it's good, you know?
It's good. Period.
It's
Next track.
good. Next song.
Next song.
Next song.
No, this one embraces the kind of twangy, it's almost like country aspect of a lot of their music, but it's still clearly like a President song, so it still like rocks pretty hard. The guitars that they layer just in stereo feel like very gritty and cool, and I really like the sound that they've achieved with the song.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of Rick Springfield, this song struck me as like an alternate universe Bruce Springsteen song. Like
Yeah, I
like
can see that.
just something about kind of I mean, they get a little bluesy
Yeah,
for sure, like with some of their guitar runs and stuff. And not saying the whole song's like that, but there's just parts in this song where I'm just like I mean, I'm glad Bruce Springsteen isn't singing it, but
yeah,
but it sounds like it could be
sure.
that.
There's a
But
lot of kind of similar, like, I don't know, a lot of that like blues rock of like the 80s and 90s and stuff. Like,
yeah.
it all has some similar characteristics to each other, and I think this is just kind of like splashing into that a little bit.
Yeah. And to touch on something we've talked about before, where so like there's half of this song is him singing and it's like verse, chorus, whatever.
Right,
But then like the last half of this song is just him singing the same words from the chorus.
right, over and
And
over again.
yeah. And here I like it a lot. Like I don't
It's
not
just the way he sings, I
yeah.
think, that
I
really like sells it.
I don't want to keep going against things that I've said in the past.
No, it's growth,
Yeah,
Joey.
I'll say it's growth and not just me twisting whatever to fit how I feel
I
in the
mean, I do
moment.
it all the time on
Yeah,
this podcast, I'm sure, so I'll just go with it.
but yeah, I like it. I mean, it's just this one too. Like I feel like there's meaning to it behind
Yeah.
behind a bug city or a little toy car in his backyard. Like it's
So what did you get out of this then?
so like not. I got like the cleansing yourself through like pushing yourself to a limit type of vibe where I mean like the words to the chorus are like, nothing like a bath of fire to get this deep down dirt out of me. And with that, it makes me think of like, I don't know, if you're starting to feel like a little sad or something and you go put on like your super sad boy music and just wallow in it, like to where you feel like absolute shit for a while. And then you're like, okay, I'm better now that I got that out of me. Or like whenever you like get a cut and you just like push on it to make it stop hurting because you're
Interesting.
going to make it hurt really, really hard or something.
I could see that. I did not look for a significantly deeper meaning to this. I kind of just like it seemed to me that he was just talking about things that maybe not him himself, but from the perspective of the singer or of the character that he is singing as, I guess. It feels like the song's just him talking about things that he's done that are leading him to hell, but he's not
Mm.
really worried about it. And he's just kind of like living life with no regrets because he's like the deep down dirt inside of him was kind of like a sin thing. And he mentions
Yeah.
hell towards the end of the song. He said, hell is down there yawning, hoping I fall headfirst in it. Nothing like about the fire to get this deep down dirt out of me. So I don't know. I just kind of took it at kind of face value of like he's accepting that he's done some terrible things. He's probably going to go to hell, but he's just kind of gung ho about it, which kind of comes up later in a different song of hell not necessarily being a horrible place in his mind, or at least within the canon of this album, I suppose, where he's just kind of embracing it and having fun with it.
You know who else would like to have fun with him?
Would it be some sort of tiki god,
It would
perhaps?
be a tiki god, man. Thanks for saving that from me.
I mean,
I'm glad you said it and I didn't. Just like, hey, but also, you know
but
what
also
this thing
tiki god.
is the next song on the track.
Track number 8. We're fucking killing it today. This one goes back to the kind of typical upbeat fuzzy rock of the Presidents. His vocals in this track overall are a bit more harsh, and the track, and I really like it. And it kind of goes a little bit harder, or at least it feels a little bit harder because of that. And this has like, I don't know, this song, I really like the song. I'm going to say that about a lot of the songs. But like the line he says, Tiki God, why you make me shake, you make me shiver, all right. It kind of has that alliteration again with shake and shiver, and it's just so much fun. Like, listening to this album is a fun experience for me because it's kind of contagious, the energy that they had while they were performing the songs. And it kind of
Yeah.
like, it almost feels like they were, instead of recording separate parts and then blending them and mixing them and mastering, it's like they all just like got into a studio and they're like, yeah, let's fucking like jam out, let's rock out. We have the song structures for everything figured out, so we're just gonna kind of like one take play them all together and just kind of like have fun with it. And I really enjoy that feeling.
Yeah, the way they write songs is just like, I don't know. I mean, I know like a lot of effort went into these, but it just seems like you said, like they just jumped into a studio and they were just like, let's fucking kick out the jams, dude.
Yeah,
And
which
then
is a song on one of their other albums.
yeah. And yeah, they just fucking did it. And I mean, I know more went into it than that, but like to achieve that feel in just every aspect. It's not even just like, yeah, the music sounds like, or the lyrics or whatever, but it's just like, here's a song called Tiki God about incurring the wrath of a tiki god, or just like you have a tiki god who like saves you or makes sure that you're good or whatever. Just like a protector of like your
Yeah,
protector is a tiki
he
god.
found a tiki god, he summoned a tiki god, and it's fucking wreaking vengeance on those who wronged him, perhaps.
Yeah, and unless you're Bobby, in which case
Unless you're Bobby.
then he's mean and vicious. But but I mean, it's just cool. Like I don't know, it's what I
Yeah,
like about.
it's kind of like, I mean, I guess it goes back to the fact that he also writes children's songs, and it makes sense. And I don't know what the overlap is timeline wise of when he started writing children's music. But like, I don't know, there's such like not that I'm saying that this is a children's song. He's talking about a lot of people being killed by some tiki god or whatever, but like it's still fun, and it still has that kind of like childlike wonder aspect to it, where it's like, I don't know, he's just taking something simple and using his imagination to kind of like open himself up to what all that would mean in kind of like an improvisational way, I guess, where like a kid is like so enraptured with a toy or something, like his Mach 5 Hot Wheel car that he was smashing in the back of his thing, and being able to put himself in that car and just kind of like exploring the atmosphere and like the environment that car puts him in guess in this case with like a tiki god and like what that means and how that would be placed, kind of like story writing I guess in some way, but obviously not having like some grand scheme kind of a thing going on. I don't know, I'm kind of rambling at this point. The point that I'm trying to make is that he just like he takes simple concepts, explores on them, and it's always fun.
And he does it in a reasonable time. Like,
Yes.
I feel like every song on here has been the exact amount of time needed for him to get whatever idea it is down.
Right. Most of the songs are around 3 minutes, maybe a little shorter.
Yeah. Yeah, there's a few there's one that's like 5 minutes long,
Yeah, we'll
but
talk about that.
yeah, but outside of that, yeah, all the songs are like 3 minutes or lower, and it works. They don't need to be like 7 minute epics about
Right.
the Tiki God. You can sing about the Tiki God in 3 minutes and make it a fucking jam.
Yeah. And boy does it jam. I really like this track.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say, I was gonna segue as the next track 9 is LIP. I was gonna
Yeah.
segue as lip,
Lip.
but then I was like, that's not right
Yeah,
because
the Tiki God wouldn't give you any lip.
yeah, he wouldn't give me any
He
lip.
wouldn't take any lip, that's for damn sure.
So this song, what do you think about this song, Jeremy?
Little Indian Princess.
Yeah,
It's LIP. It's LIP is the track title. It stands for Little Indian Princess because that's the chorus of the song. But yeah, it's the groove of the drums and the guitar riff on the song, top notch. I really like it. Vocal harmonies and the chorus on this one are fucking great. There's this like he uses this like kind of flanger, kind of tubey sound effect in the second verse and the bridge, and then there's this build up and then a drop when he when he screams on a fist sized ice cream cone at dicks, and then the song kind of stops, and then it kind of comes back in for the last chorus as opposed to having like a solo going into it. But yeah, I enjoy the song. I don't know. I think it might be one of my least favorite ones on the album as like an overall song. I think, but that's not to say that I don't like the song.
I'm glad you said it because I feel the same way. Like it's not a super standout track. I do though like the lyrics, I guess, because I don't know. At first, I was looking at the lyrics on my phone, and I didn't have any like context to it. And Little Indian Princess, like, it made me think because it was written in '96. So I mean, I think
Yeah,
that's back when people were like still calling Native Americans Indians. So
sure.
like immediately, my head like went to Native American. But then, as I like read the lyrics, I was like, so he's talking about, I guess, the meat industry,
Yeah,
and like this song, it has a meaning, or like
sure.
you can decipher it. Like to me, at least, it was like talking about like the meat industry and like destroying like land to make burgers or whatever. Like, but
Yeah,
Little Indian Princess, like I guess cows are sacred in that culture. So I
yeah.
think like
Like cannibalism and stuff.
that's where it came from. But it was cool to have a song that made a connection. But yeah, otherwise it's like the music's good, of course, because they wrote it.
Yeah,
But as far as like the rest of the tracks, this one,
yeah.
which
It doesn't stand out as much as others.
which I feel like is a feat. It's impressive because they've gone. This is the ninth song on the track.
Yeah,
Every single one has been an absolute fucking banger.
yeah.
And I mean, this song's still good, but like,
It's less good.
yeah, like how it's insane that they could go this far without having a track like not be great.
Right.
So
Yeah. And I think lyrically, just to kind of change a couple things with what you said, I feel like it might be a little bit culturally insensitive, but again, this is '96, and like I don't just referring to a cow, which is like a holy object, like it's idolized a lot in Hinduism and stuff like that, where and playing off of that to talk about a hamburger kind of seems a little maybe insensitive to some of that stuff. But it also he's talking about an E. coli outbreak that happened back in the '90s because there was some outbreak with Jack in the Box that apparently was pretty bad, like across the country in like a few states at least, and one of the states is Washington, where the band is from. So
yeah, I took it as like which I guess that is insensitive, but like I took it as well, you shouldn't have been doing this in the fucking first place type
Yeah.
thing towards the meat industry. But yeah,
Right. Yeah. I just feel like calling a burger your little Indian princess maybe outside of the context has kind of a bad feel to it.
oh, I thought the cow itself was okay. I mean, yeah,
Well,
I
that's
guess
what
that
I'm
doesn't
saying. Like,
change. Yeah, I
I know
guess
it's
it
just
doesn't
weird.
change too much.
It just feels weird. Maybe I'm overreacting to it, but
Maybe
it
I'm
felt weird to me.
underreacting.
Maybe you're getting a little froggy and having second doubts about things, but we should press on and talk about track number 10.
Froggy,
Froggy.
dude. Okay, so this song, as much as the last like Little Indian Princess, as much as that was not like a standout track, I
Yeah.
fucking love Froggy, dude. It's what does your silence mean, Jeremy?
Nothing. I was taking a drink. I was
Okay.
just listening.
I thought you were silently judging me over there from
No.
your
Keep talking
mountaintop.
about Froggy, man. I'll keep taking
Okay.
drinks.
Okay. This song, it's a fucking holler, it's a fucking hootenanny, a bop, a banger, and a rip roar, all tied into one. It's got these funky ass keys going on.
You should be a marketing director. That was fantastic.
It's just so like, so yeah, it's got like the funky ass keys. It's got the twangy guitar that they got. It's like this fast pace throughout the song that just like you can't be still when you're listening to
Yeah.
it. And then like as they have done in a few other songs, but they do it even more here. I feel like just because like the energy starts off from the beginning, they slow it down for the last verse so they can build it back up even higher.
Yeah.
And it's just like bah, 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 like just nuts.
Yeah. You get the bow 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 down bow 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 down. You know, you just gotta fucking get it.
Froggy.
It's got that. It has all of those adjectives that you used to describe it at the beginning. It's I don't know. It's pretty fun. It's a fun song. And I think to kick it all off, like the lyrics are also like just out there and trying to get you to jump because the song's talking about a frog jumping all over the fucking stage, and it kind of has that energy in the music. And the song, when it slows down, it's actually talking about Froggy, who is jumping all over the stage because he's a front man of a band or whatever. He dies, right? He overdoses on pills or something because he's living that rock and roll lifestyle. He goes down to hell, and he sees that there's a band there playing, just kind of waiting for him to make more music. And so he does. He goes to hell and he continues rocking the fuck out and just jumping all over the stage in hell.
Because that's what hell is.
That's what hell is to Chris. Just playing more music.
I mean, if you're going by the rock and roll lifestyle, yeah, if you're going by like the rock and rollers all go to hell,
yeah, it's the cool hell.
Yeah, it's not the like, oh, you're gonna get poked with a hot poker in your eyeball for 20 bajillion years or whatever.
Which I'm down to live by rock and roll hell.
Yeah, why not? I mean, anything's possible when you're just making shit up.
Not endorsed by the Church of Christianity.
But so tube amplifiers, the next song.
It is. That was the worst segue of the night, but also apt. Tube amplifier is the 11th track.
I wanted to talk about the song.
Okay,
it's why I did the shitty segue.
Sure.
So this song, whenever I got to it, like, I like this song. I like it a lot.
Wait, hang on. Are you going to tell me a story about it?
I'm not going to tell you a story about it. I'm going to tell you a story about what this song makes me, what it symbolizes to me.
Okay, well, go ahead and lay it on us, man.
It's the freedom to just feel what you're going to feel, no matter how small you think it is. Just the happiness of, in this case, getting a new amp, or in the case where this was one of the ones where the drummer is singing as well.
Yeah,
because he's singing about getting new cymbals. They're Sabian, and he's super fucking happy about it.
Yeah, they're great.
Like, this is what I feel like these guys are true punk. Like, not in the like crazy in your face just nuts way, but like, so a while ago, me and Alyssa went to a festival called Planet X Fest, and Planet X they're like a DIY punk type record
It
place.
sounds like a porn store.
Yeah, but it was just like a weekend long festival of just like a shit ton of punk bands playing, and this song gave off the same energy as this one dude. I can't find the band and I can't find the song anywhere online, and I don't remember who it was playing it, but it was a song called Chupacabra, and the way he introduced it was, this song is about the chupacabra because I think it's really fucking cool.
Yeah.
And the whole song was just like them rocking out, and he was just going chupa 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 chupa, like just going
Right.
nuts. Just dude at his just happiest, writing a song about something that's awesome, and there's no pretense about it. And that's what I feel like they've captured with this song, is just like the pure energy of just like, dude, I got a new amp. I'm pretty fucking pumped about it. Let's rock out to it. And they just write a song about it, and it's not too small to write a song about because it means something to them.
Yeah, and as you mentioned earlier about all their songs kind of having the perfect length, this one is only like a minute and a half long. This is one of the shorter songs on the album, if
Yeah.
not the shortest song. And it comes in, it introduces the concept, it lets them get it out, and then it's over. And it's not a bad thing. I feel like I would also enjoy it to be longer, but it doesn't need to be longer, and it's perfect how it is. Also, you totally, I don't know if you missed it or if you were just ignoring me at the beginning. The song starts off with Chris going up and saying, "Excuse me, can I tell you a story?" And then you hear like, "Yeah, lay it on us, man." He goes, "Okay." It goes like this, and then he starts the song, kind of thing, which I was trying to mimic with you at the beginning when you were telling your story. But
You
whatever.
see, I would have gotten that if I had looked at my notes, but I just went off on a thing there.
That's fine. We all go off on things, but yeah, this one it's Chris is talking about how he got a new amplifier and he's excited to just fucking rock it out like some sort of volcano throwback. And then I guess their bassist at the time, or their second guitarist maybe, was talking about how he got a Big Bertha driver, or maybe it was Chris. I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell. Where he was just excited to take this golf club to the range and fucking smack a ball. And then the drummer comes in and he's like, "Yeah, I got a fucking new cymbal and I'm excited about that." And then the song's over, kind of a thing. Which it's fun. Like I said, it's just like you can tell that they were in a good mood when they wrote the song, when they recorded the song. It feels just pure, and it's not too pretentious or trying too hard to be something. It's just like, hey, I like this thing. Cool. Next song.
Yeah. I'm going to not correct something I said, but I'm going to extrapolate on something
Sure.
I said about this being true punk. I wasn't saying it's true punk because it's happy or because it's about them being happy necessarily. It's because it's about something that is important to them. And I mean, that can be good or bad, but in this case, it's more about nothing being too small. You just write songs about things that affect you, be it good or bad.
Yeah.
Because there's some great and very important punk music that has made some change
Oh, for sure.
on different levels about shit that sucks. But so I don't want
Right.
to,
This is not like anarchist punk
yeah.
or trying to change the system punk.
And all that stuff is true punk as well. I just mean it captures the spirit of it.
Right. Of
So,
just kind of doing it because fuck it, why not?
yeah, because we're gonna make some music about shit that's super cool.
Yeah, and if we get famous enough and make enough money, maybe we can all marry supermodels or something.
Hell yeah, that's the dream, especially when they're made of metal and a million miles high.
Track number 12, supermodel.
That's my kind of supermodel, man.
I really like the song. I like this. There's kind of like a skipped beat feel on the song, and I really enjoy it. The guitar tones on this song specifically kind of like they really shine. Like they've used the tones several times on the album, but the song really gives them space to shine in their own existence. And
Yeah.
the drums again just get to play around a bit without being like overbearing or too wild or anything. They're not like Zach Hill, just going ham.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's I don't know. There's a lot of cool like licks and melodies and stuff in this track that I really enjoy.
Man, every time you bring Hella into this, it gives me a flashback to me panicking in my office while we were recording because I'm just like, oh no, he hates it. He hates it.
Well, we can talk about that more next week as well.
But yeah, it's good. I like the song, like you said. Like the music is great. I like the tone. I like that it lets it shine because the song is just. I mean, it's the perfect length. Like everything we've said already. This
Yeah,
is it
this is
again.
another hit, just
But
right out of the park.
I really like the lyrics because it's supermodel and like you expect it. I mean, you don't expect it. You shouldn't. At this point in the album, you shouldn't expect anything. But like supermodel, you're like, oh, supermodel, like runway, whatever. Like, yeah, they're rock stars singing about supermodels, and then it's talking about just like some crazy warrior priestess, like who's like part machine and giant, and like she's some sort of Terminator robot thing, and it's
Yeah,
just like,
the song's confusing as hell. So I think he's talking about a building or the model of that building, like from an architecture thing. Like it's a
yeah,
super model kind of a thing because he does say that they're like she's made of metal and 1,000,000 miles high. Her hairdo is scraping the sky, kind of a thing. And it's I don't know. It just made me think that like maybe he's not actually talking about a girl as much as he's talking about a building that he saw. And it's like, yeah, it's a fucking super looking model of a skyscraper.
I just took it as what an actual super awesome supermodel would be, where it's like, I don't know,
She's 1,000,000 miles high.
yeah, just like
She's the
got,
love child of Genghis Khan and a beautiful busty Amazon.
and she's got like some sort of crazy ray gun that she's just like,
Yeah,
and you're just like,
it
oh
doesn't make
fuck.
sense though because he talks about her being like the daughter of Genghis Khan and an Amazon, and then he goes on and he's talking about her being birthed from Darth Vader or being birthed by the Terminator, and then just like she can't have all of these parents
I mean,
unless
he does say, but that's impossible.
that's
So
true. That's true. So maybe he's just maybe he's just like saying, man, like if I didn't know any better, I'd say Darth Vader was your father. Also, the first time, like not really paying attention to the lyrics as I'm doing during this, listening to the song outside of the context of the podcast when he says Darth Vader and 9 months later, but that's impossible. This is maybe too niche, I guess, but no, because he's making the reference anyway. Fucking when Darth Vader reveals to Luke that he is his father, Luke goes, That's not true. That's impossible." And that's what I always think of when I hear him say it. When he says, "But that's impossible," I just think of that scene, and I don't know if that was intentional or not, or if he was just like saying like, "Yeah, it's impossible," because he also says it after the Terminator bit.
nah, I think it's a reference.
I hope so. I'm choosing to believe so. I also there's a line in the song that I really like, and I'm not sure why I like it so much. I just like it. But he says she'll make a fascinating fossil, and I just like the idea of that of like describing something or someone's beauty as like, man, she's gonna make a really pretty fossil someday. It's just like fascinating, and I really enjoy it.
She's gonna make some really nice crude oil for a spaceship
Yeah,
for future civilization.
it's gonna power the Death Star.
Maybe that's what he needs.
Yeah, it's all a Star Wars reference. Fucking Darth Vader in his puffy little shoes,
Just puffing it up over there.
walking around with squish.
God
Uh,
damn it.
that was where
That's
my
a
brain
reach,
went.
man.
I don't know.
That's
My brain went there.
I know nobody's gonna know. I mean, somebody's gonna know that, but not many people are going to get that.
I mean,
And I'm not gonna explain it.
not many people are going to listen to this podcast anyway. So,
Exactly. So the amount of people who will get that is literally none.
yep. Well,
Not
track
even
number
me.
13, "Puffy Little Shoes," was the original segue there before I just bastardized it.
Going squish, 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 squish.
Yeah,
Okay. No,
this is the longest song on the album, and I
5
feel like the
minutes.
song is too long. This is the one song on the album that I think goes on a bit too long.
I will agree with you, but I like every part of this song.
Yeah,
But yeah, it could be. It
it's
could be shorter.
yeah, it's. I mean, it's 5 minutes. Every other track on this album, like we said, is around 3 minutes.
Yeah.
But this one, it's a bit more stripped down musically with like minimal drums in the verses and stuff. The vocals kind of drag and stretch at parts that make the song feel longer than it already is. And since this is the longest track, it just I don't know. It feels like there's a lot to it. There's a nice progression to it, but I feel like it could have been half as long and
Yeah,
accomplished the same thing.
that same progression definitely could have been probably about 3.5 minutes
Right.
long. But you know, whatever. Like that's fine. It's
It's
got
fun
a
presence.
it's got a little mini guitar solo.
Yeah.
But yeah, you that is like after hearing a bunch of songs that are between 1.5 minutes and 3 minutes long, hearing a song that's 5 minutes long feels like the whole Fishman's album.
Yeah.
Like
Just a little okay, when is it over? When's the next track kind of
what's
thing.
happening?
It does feel out of place. Lyrically, I have no idea what's going on in this song other than he really likes his shoes, you know?
Yeah, that's honestly all I got too. Like I don't it just made me think of like the skater shoes that were like a big thing when I was in like
Yeah.
middle school where it's like you had the really puffy like Vans or whatever. But
Well, so I think the song idea came from a track that we will discuss in a minute. Um,
oh
but
yeah.
I don't know. I just feel like it's weird because he's comparing things. He's like he starts off by saying a little puffy cloud with a tongue floating over a cheese puff rug-a-lug. If I had to choose between those two, I'd obviously choose the one with the puffy little shoes. Which that one makes kind of sense. He's referring to his shoes as clouds with a tongue, right? And they're floating over a rug, which is fluffy, and that makes sense. And then he goes on and he says, "Little skinny chicken on my plate, big skinny skinhead. He's up to here with hate. If I had to choose between those two, I'd obviously choose the one with the puffy little shoes," which is maybe a bit of a stretch. And I don't know if he's saying the skinhead's wearing shoes or the chicken's wearing shoes. And then I don't know. He just does it more and more, and his comparisons get weird. And it's like he always comes back to, yeah, I'd pick the one, whichever one had my shoes, I'd like, kind of a thing.
Maybe it's a stab at like commercialism and clicks where it's all about what fashion you have rather than who you are, what your character is.
Maybe as long as you have cool shoes, Chris will buy anything or or agree with anything you say.
Yeah, and maybe uh, uh,
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I think we are out of segues for the evening.
I was hoping something would come to me, and then you came to me like a bastion of hope.
Well, it didn't happen. Track number 14, ladies and gentlemen, part 2. It's the big finale of the album. It's a reprisal, so to speak, of the opening track on the album, which was "Ladies and Gentlemen" Part 1, obviously. And I don't know, before it actually gets to the song, he does a lot of these like weird mini solos, I guess, where he's just
Yeah.
kind of experimenting with a bunch of different tones in the thing, and then the song comes in, and it's kind of a repeat, a rehash, a reprisal, like I said, of the first one, where instead of welcoming you to the show, he's saying, "Good evening, like it's been fun. Time to go. Get the fuck out of here." kind of a
See
thing.
ya. Don't have to go home, but you can't stay here.
Exactly. That's exactly what's going on here.
But yeah, I like those little guitar solos at the beginning because guitar solos are cool. And as much as I feel like the last song went on because like it ended and it kind of like had this big rock and roll finish. This
Yeah.
like it started off kind of picking up where the last song left off. And yeah, I don't know. I like whenever stuff comes full circle.
Yeah.
So I like it.
It ties the album together.
You start in a familiar, you end in a familiar place,
Yeah.
which is cool.
And there's some like long amp feedback kind of fuzz at the end of the track that actually goes into a hidden track, which is apparently not on Spotify, and
Nope.
it's out of order on the YouTube music thing, so I don't know what's going on there. But it is a hidden 15th track that is just called Basketball Dream on the album,
Which is where Puffy Shoes came from.
which is where Puffy Little Shoes came from. So this track, it's a pretty different sound from the rest of the album, and that's not really a rock song. It's just this kind of like floaty, kind of dreamscapey music to match the content of the lyrics. And instead of Chris singing the song, it's just a kid talking, and you can hear Chris whispering underneath it. He's like just repeating the words, or he's actually leading the words. So I'm not sure if he was telling the kid what to say, or if Chris was added in like after the kid recorded it, and it's just kind of there as like a weird effect of him, like you could just kind of make him out whispering the words underneath.
I thought it was him whispering to the kid because the kid starts like laughing. Because
Yeah.
I mean, he's describing like a weird. I mean, it's a basketball dream about like Magic Johnson,
Yeah.
who autographed a ball, but it was like a small rubber ball, and he was really tall, and he had big puffy shoes, and like he's just talking about like these weird ideas like you would get in a dream.
Yeah.
And the kid is like, as he's whispering to the kid's just like cracking up. He's just loving the shit.
Yeah, and that's what I don't understand, because I think I read that it was just the kid. Originally, it was just the kid talking about his dream, and I think the track was at least the vocal track from this song, or the track from this track. I don't know. The vocals from this track were used previously in a different song, and I haven't listened to that, so I don't know if it also had Chris underneath or whatever. Maybe that's what happened. Is they originally had the kid tell the story on the album, and then they came back to it and it's like, hey, like, you go into the studio and I'm going to tell you what you said last time, and you're going to repeat it and kind of see how it is. So I'm not sure what the circumstances of the recording are, but it's a relative of Chris, his nephew, child. I don't know. It's not clear. Some kid that Chris knows and is related to, just trying to talk about his dream, which makes no sense because it's a dream. And that also fits in with a lot of this album making little to no sense.
Which is awesome, because nothing about any... I was about to make some sort of political thing about presidents not making sense, but like, whatever. I don't make sense.
Like fucking, because they're on change, like on loose, like coin change. That makes sense. How do you feel? I mean, we already know how you felt about this album. Do you have any final thoughts about this album as a whole?
My final thoughts were that I'm glad I was given a reason to go into their back catalog, some deeper cuts, and I will now be continuing my deeper dive into their discography.
I'm excited. I'm glad, because that makes me feel better about choosing. I mentioned last week that I was torn between 3 albums. I don't think I mentioned the next part, which is I asked Joey to pick one based on the album title. I asked a couple other people to like vote and see which one I should do, because I didn't know which one I should do. And then I ended up throwing all of that out the window. Everyone wanted me to do the other albums. I was like, nah, we're doing 2, because it just feels right to me. So I'm glad that it worked out, and that I don't feel like an asshole for ignoring everyone telling me to do the other albums.
Oh, you should still feel like an asshole, but you were right in your assholishness.
Fuck yeah, that's the best I can hope for, honestly. Next week,
what are we doing?
We're gonna just do kind of a more casual. I don't think we're gonna do a list. We haven't really talked about the specifics, but we're just gonna be reflecting, I guess, doing like a 1 year reflection, because as we mentioned, this is our 52nd episode.
One whole year
you're listening to. We've been doing this for a full year now, which is awesome and exciting, and it'll give us kind of a break from the normal to just kind of like shoot the shit and talk about what we've done in the past year, and really feel ourselves is what's gonna happen. We're just gonna be talking about how awesome we are that we made this, but it feels incredible to like you mentioned at the top, to just like consistently do this for a year, because it's so easy to drop things, or to like stop working on a project that you've done, or put a hobby aside and give up on it or whatever, because you're not good at it. But we fucking stuck with this for a year, and
we're not good at it.
We're still not good at it, but we're going to continue to be not good at it for the foreseeable future.
Hell yeah.
And we're as we lead into year 2 of the podcast, the show, we're just going to take a look back, not at the year itself, perhaps, but the year of FeedbackLoop.
Was I supposed to say bye-bye there?
I don't know. You guys want to stay in our feedback loop?
Bye! Oh, God.